MongooseJake here to show what my plans are to take a Buzz Bee Tyrant, as you see here, and make it into something more. It already is one of my absolute favorite ever Mega Blasters, but I want to have a custom one. Like, this is the personal one I've been using. As you see, I've got a homemade paracord sling on it. This is the one I've been running, and for me, I just want to see about getting more punch out of it while upping the looks. And as what you see here is a slate gray painted shell along with hydro dipped parts. I'm doing the normal my normal color scheme, but reversed. Instead of the panels being left solid color and the blaster itself getting hydro dipped, I wanted to do it in reverse and see how that turned out. And I think I'm going to be pretty pleased with it, and I hope you guys will in the end as well. But we're going to take this and we're going to put it together, and I have, as you see, a few different springs here. And what we have is the stock spring, which the stock spring for a Buzz Bee Tyrant, it is Retaliator sized except in length. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here is a stock Buzz Bee spring. Well, the typical Buzz Bee spring is the same basic size as a Retaliator spring. If we line these up, you have about an extra 1.25 inches in length. Now that does actually happen to line up to a Roto Fury spring that I have, literally almost coil for coil, and I have also found the plunger tube can accept a long shot spring. This is a 12 kilogram long shot spring. I have a 10 kilogram Roto Fury spring. I haven't decided fully on which one's going to go in it. I'll probably start with the 10 kilogram and see if I'm happy with the performance, and if not, then I'll swap to the 12 kilogram long shot spring. But we will see where we're at with the 10 kilogram. And now I'm going to get to work on putting some of this together. But first, before we do that, I do want to share a little bit of insight on the blaster itself. If you've never taken apart a Buzz Bee Tyrant, it uses a floating plunger head, very similar to, say, a Nerf Magnus. If you've ever worked with them, one of my, again, another favorite Mega Blaster of mine. But I have already done the work. This has been relubed. I improved the seal by putting 3 wraps of E-tape underneath of it, and I put 5 underneath the breech seal. Because this, you're just manually moving this, so it can be a pretty snug fit. And it's a snug enough fit that when I actually get it to fully plug with my finger, I can get it to draw that plunger head along, just based on the vacuum pressure. So good seal there. And I'm going to go ahead and get that reassembled. And as you see, I'll show you just for your own use here. Long shot spring does fit in. The issue with the long shot spring and why it may not get full compression is that it is the same diameter as the plunger head, whereas a Roto Fury spring will fit inside. So again, any spring that fits the Roto Fury is a direct fit for the Tyrant. Good thing to keep in mind. Like I said, I'm probably going to run with the 10 kilogram Roto Fury spring, and then if that's not enough punch, I will get the long shot spring to work. But on top of that, I also, of course, did remove the air restrictor. Buzz Bee air restrictors are indeed restrictive. Yeah, I know, that's odd. They actually do their job. But I removed that, just drilled it out from the back with a 1/2 inch drill bit, and cleaned it up with filing, and good to go there. I'm going to start reassembly here. Let's take that 10 kilogram Roto Fury spring. We will put it on the spring rest. And for now, I'm going to move my hydro dip parts off to the side to keep them safe. So, 10 kilogram spring on spring rest in the plunger head. Pop that in. There we go. That's how it should look. Get it in there on the plunger tube holder. Spring rest is in the shell. That's good. good to go, ready to keep going. Okay, here we are again once I've got the internals in place. I'm going to make some notes here real quick so that if you do decide to do this mod yourself, you'll have this as reference. Now, the lock I have removed. You have an entire lock mechanism that plops in here, and I actually did take apart a stock one we can use as reference. Let me get it here in frame. Now this you do not need. That is a self-contained lock system. It is screwed in place here and at the back. Pop out these two screws. You can just barely see this one behind the orange plastic, and then this one right here. Pull those two out and the locks are removed. I actually find that the dart tooth for the Tyrant is ingenious. It's well placed, well reinforced, and it works amazingly well. If you're going to run, okay, who does not run full length megas? I guess there are some people out there trying to do short megas, but this is a very sturdy dart tooth, and it's very reliable. It actually works off of the breech hitting a arm here, which forces it down. But this is a three-piece assembly up here. You have the actual dart tooth itself. You have this bracket that actually screws in here and here. And then you have the sliding mechanism that fits in underneath that bracket. So if you need to see, there it is for up close reference. This does have a torsion spring on it, and the torsion spring rests against the shell right here, and that allows it to be forced down when the dart tooth mechanism is open. The dart tooth will rest in the down position. So that's for your reference points. Of course, we got the typical Buzz Bee mag release, and here is the trigger with trigger spring, catch, and catch spring, and the spring rest does fit into there. Quick reference points. If we want, I can actually timestamp this point of the video. That way, if somebody needs to just reference the internals, they don't have to watch the whole thing if they don't want to. That is our stock Tyrant. Here is the modified, and like I said, I did decide here on camera I would just run with the 10 kilogram Roto Fury spring until I decide whether or not I need more power. But this is what the modified internals will look like. Basically, we're just missing the locks, and everything is in place. I'll button this up, and we'll come back, and I'll see about firing it. Okay, here we are with it put together with the final look. I want to give you both sides there. I think that the Hydro Dipped accents really stand off against the slate gray paint that I did, especially with the orange trigger, mag release, grip, and barrel. That's the stock colors. I just simply removed them. And I will note, now that I'm talking about these panels, the panels do need to be re-screwed. There is a screw on each at the front and the back of each of these. Very nice that Buzz Bee did that. The rear panels are just clicked in. They have little tabs. They can be pushed in even after you got the shell put together. But these two panels, these larger ones, must be screwed in place before you put the shell back together. Now, I have been testing it. This is firing in the middle 90s on the 10 kilogram spring using the NF Strike AccuStrike style megas, and I have that right here. I just fired a few shots, as you can see 3, but I'm firing at 95.5 feet per second, and it's loading smooth and firing hard. I mean, it is basically just a Buzz Bee Champion that took all the steroids. That's what the Tyrant is, and that's a very good recipe because the Champion is a fantastic blaster, and the Tyrant personally is already my favorite mega blaster that's ever been made. And yes, you can put that on record. I love Buzz Bee already. I think this blaster and the whole Air Max line from Buzz Bee was so highly underrated. That's actually going to be on my next series when I do my overlooked and underrated blasters. That's going to be the Tyrant, or the Boss is going to be one of the next ones. And it's just, they just didn't sell well enough, and that's unfortunate because this thing is a modder's delight. The panels being easily removable so you can do your paint jobs however you feel. The fact that it takes Buzz Bee was wise enough to make it take common springs. It can easily handle upgraded springs. I might even still throw in the long shot 12 kilogram, but if it's hitting 90s on Mega, that's good enough for me. And what I want to do with it, because any more, if I need it, I'll do it in the future on another Tyrant probably. But already, it was already one of my favorite Mega Blasters ever made, and now I'm absolutely loving it. This will be, when it comes to Mega use, this will be my personal primary blaster, and I absolutely love how that turned out, and the fact that on a 10 kilogram spring, it's hitting above 90. But this is MongooseJake with my Buzz Bee Tyrant mod. I will kind of call it a guide because I did give tips and pointers along the way. But it is slate gray paint job with some white, orange, and blue and actual metallic chrome accents. And it's running off of a 10 kilogram Nerf Roto Fury upgraded spring with the air restrictor removed, locks removed, and it's ready to run as it is. But I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions on this or need any further details, let me know in the comment section below. And also, let me know what you think of it and what you'd like to see as the next blaster to be modded. I have 4 others I'm currently working on, and once they're out, I'll start taking suggestions. But it's MongooseJake saying thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.